Part 45. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 441. Su Chen, who has regained his physical body, seems to want to make up for the previous time. After the injury caused by the thunder robbery is healed, the first thing is to assign Qi Changjai to get him food and drink. Certain medicinal herbs and spiritual plants cannot be eaten like others. Every time they see Guyao and the others enjoying it, they feel ruthless in their hearts, waiting for one day to eat them to heal. Seeing such a vigorous Su Chen, Guyao was also very happy. Thinking that he hadn't eaten or drank for tens of thousands of years, he should indulge his predecessors once, and beat Qi Changjai before and after, both roasted and boiled. You can use as many skills as you have. Just after eating a bunch of barbecue, the bones under his feet are piled up into hills. Su Chen is tired of eating spirit fruit, his mouth is still oily, but he is not forgiving at all. Guyao, look at how old this guy you are looking for. Now, the cooking skills have not improved much. If I say that you have too little training, with your alchemy skills, there are not many spiritual chefs out there who want to follow you. Qi Changjai told himself not to be angry, if it wasn't for Guyao's sake. Seeing how pitiful this guy had been locked in the space for so many years, he couldn't think of how he spent so much time getting him a bunch of food. But seeing Su Chen's dejected appearance, and also persuading Guyao to find someone else to intervene between the two of them, he finally couldn't bear it anymore, and when his mind moved, the purple thunder sword ran out and turned into a purple thunder dragon in their place. Circled in the sky. Hey, what do you want to do? You want to kill someone? Guyao, see the true face of this guy Su Chen, who was once liberated, was completely unrestrained, and his image was thrown away from Kyushu. Qi Changjai gritted his teeth. I'm going to practice swordsmanship, please go out and find the spirit chef for what alchemist Su wants to eat. People jumped out of the island with a slam, and stood between the sea and slashed forward with a sword and a sword. The mountains and tsunamis suddenly roared outside, and the waves of dozens of feet slammed against the restrictions on the island. To be shot down. There was only one more Su Chen on the island, but the atmosphere was particularly lively. After Su Chen had eaten and drank enough, he went up and down the mountain and tossed the sea to his heart's content. Of course, there was one more thing, that was to restore his cultivation. Maybe it's because all the treasures used to reshape the body are of the highest quality, and because of the supply of Guyao's best pills, Su Chen's soul in the pill pavilion has also grown a lot under the double baptism. He who has survived the calamity has recovered to the early stage of virtual refining, and after eating, playing, and playing, this cultivation level has risen steadily. In the eyes of Guyao and Qi Changjai, that just change every day, and change to someone with a slightly worse temperament. Just jealousy can lead to jealousy. Fortunately, he doesn't always play, and he also makes a few pots of pills to find the feeling of his hand. Once he starts to make pills, his state will be reversed quickly, and he will become extremely pious, like two completely different people from before. Because of his recovery, Qi Changjai also began to look for a way out of here. He left Guyao and Su Chen to concoct pills on the island. Qi Changjai took Cub and Mou to explore again and again. The strength made Su Chen reshape his body, but he threw them into a place of death. When I was tired outside, I went back to the island to have a rest. Guyao and Su Chen were immersed in the alchemy technique without disturbing them, so Mou picked up the seafood and boiled a big pot and left it on the island. After he adjusted his breath, he left the island. Continue his work. Time flies and a year has passed. Su Chen's cultivation has risen to the fusion stage, and Guyao and the others have become numb in shock. Fortunately, the speed of his cultivation has slowed down at this time, and it is not much compared to other monks. The difference, Qi Changjai breathed a sigh of relief. That's right, otherwise, if Su Chen's previous cultivation was so high, he shouldn't have been forced to the point of nowhere. After a year of exploration and observation, Chi finally figured out some patterns and returned to the island. He said, I found that there are 2 riots in the eye of the storm, and there is a relatively mild period every first half of the year. Maybe this is the best way for us to leave here, and the seniors have been promoted to fit, so we have a greater grasp of passing through the middle of the 2 storm eyes. Su Chen made a final decision and said, okay, then we will leave in the next relaxation period and go back to the spiritual world. I have been away long enough. Although he had returned to the Jian world before, he still couldn't show himself outside, so he couldn't count as a real return. Gu Yao said, okay, listen to the seniors asterisk. During this period of time, he has gained a lot from alchemy with Su Chen. Listening to others' instructions and watching others' alchemy with his own eyes still feels different, because some things cannot be clearly expressed in words. When the time was approaching, the 3 of them were fully armed, put away the cave and set off. They soon arrived at the place Ji Changjai said. The scene in the eyes of the storm changed from time to time. A hurricane with a dense crack in space. They waited here for 2 days, and the movement of the 2 storm eyes really began to weaken, and after another day, Chi Changjai looked at the middle of the 2 storm eyes and said, at this time, this state will only last for less than 2 days. After an hour, after this time period, you can only wait until the next opportunity. Su Chen also had a serious expression at the moment. Although he didn't think that guy would harm him, if he lost his life because of his carelessness, he probably wouldn't be able to forgive himself. Su Chen threw out an umbrella-shaped top-quality treasure. You all come in, this is a defensive treasure. If you can't support it, take out the pill pavilion to resist. Although the pill pavilion has no power attack ability, but don't underestimating it. Alchemist Ben has been able to survive many times in distress, but he has relied on it. Gu Yao pulled Chi Changjai under the umbrella. I see, we will put our lives first when necessary. Go. With an umbrella in one hand, Su Chen rushed into the middle of the 2 storm eyes with Gu Yao and Chi Changjai. Gu Yao threw Mou into the space, where Mou could not help much, and Zai Zai can cooperate with Gu Yao to strengthen the soul, and Hui Zai is also sitting on Gu Yao's shoulder with a cat-like face at this moment. The middle area is still full of hurricanes, and black space cracks fall from time to time in the hurricane. If you are unfortunately involved in it, even Su Chen, the combined power, may not be able to escape. The hurricane was stopped by the defensive treasure, but the space crack needed to be avoided. 3 people and 1 cat raised the alert to the extreme, predicting the foothold of the space crack at any time, and dodging in advance. There is a space crack 10 steps ahead. As soon as Gu Yao finished speaking, Su Chen flashed to the side, and a space crack passed them by, almost sending himself into the space crack. This is also the experience that Gu Yao and Chi Changjai have been watching the storm eye. The moment the space crack appears, there will be extremely subtle space fluctuations. As long as you grasp this fluctuation, you can predict it in advance. But before he could breathe a sigh of relief, Gu Yao's warning came again, and Su Chen avoided a crack again. When he said that this period of time was a period of relaxation, it meant that the appearance of space cracks was not as dense as other periods. It needs to have strength and space crack resistance. Under the highly tense state of nerves, Gu Yao's cooperation with the cubs is getting better and better, and the perception of the spatial fluctuations has become more and more proficient. I don't know how long, Gu Yao seems to have entered a wonderful state. This state under the situation, any changes in the surrounding space cannot escape his soul perception. Su Chen and Chi Changjai looked at each other, neither of them said a word, but they enhanced the protection of Gu Yao. Once there was danger, his safety was the priority. The benefits are enormous. The 2 did not relax their vigilance against the surrounding space, but their prediction speed was not as fast and timely as that of Gu Yao, which made him. Their speed has also increased a lot. During this period, Chi Changjai saw that there was still land in the storm. The hurricane and space cracks were blocked by the ban on the land, but with the hurricane drifting around, there was more than one piece of land, and some seemed to have monsters and figures on it. If you move, you don't know if it's the natives or the monks who broke in. Chi had no idea of going out to explore, who knew that the monks there were enemies or friends. What shocked him the most was that there were still creatures in the storm. The unknown alien beast was wearing scale armor, and the scale armor could withstand the cracks in the space. Fortunately, the alien beast he saw was far enough away. Otherwise there is no guarantee that it will come to them. I am afraid that the fit power may not be able to resist. I don't know how long it took. Guyao suddenly got out of that wonderful state, his spiritual sense was exhausted, his face was a little pale, and the cub was also paralyzed on his shoulder, looking exhausted, when he just exited. At the time, Chi found out, and quickly supported him with his hands and put the medicine pill into his mouth. The most dangerous place has passed. There is nothing to worry about. Xiaoao, you can rest in peace. Just now, your consciousness has been exhausted. After Guyao woke up and turned around, he immediately understood what the previous state was. Although his consciousness was too much, his eyes glowed, and his spirit was in a state of excitement. I seem to be holding something, maybe I will also soon. I can directly tear up the space like a master. Su Chen rolled his eyes while paying attention to the situation around him. Okay, you can, next time I'll see you tear up the space transfer, don't have to worry about it. The storm gradually intensified behind them, but fortunately, they had come over without a hitch. After a few dodges, Su Chen took Guyao and the others out of the storm zone completely, looking at the scene of the destruction of the world behind them. The three of them could not help but wipe away the cold sweat. After leaving the danger zone, the three of them released the aircraft, adjusted their breaths while rushing on their way, and returned to their best state as soon as possible, but they didn't feel that they were completely safe now. Just after they left, a space crack suddenly appeared above the island. The monk stepped in and sensed it. He glanced in the direction where Guyao and the others left, with a smile in his eyes, and then retreated to the space behind the crack. The sky returns to its original state. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 442. Hurry up and hurry. It took the three of Guyao several months to reach the nearest state. When they saw birds flying high over the state, Su Chen said, I see, we are going to Fengzhou. Now, there are not many others in Fengzhou, and there are the most bird tribes. Fengzhou? It's a coincidence. Isn't Zhang Jingfeng, the young master of Dingxian Pavilion, from Fengzhou? Guyao said in surprise. Chi Changjai nodded. It seemed that they had a lot of fate with the young master of Dingxian Pavilion. Zhang Jingfeng gave them a chance to visit Fengzhou when they passed by. When they went deep into Fengzhou, they could often hear all kinds of chirping sounds. At first they thought it was very pleasant, but after listening to them too much, they wanted to plug their ears. When dozens of black crows kept calling you quack quack, they just wanted to burn them all with a fire, but as soon as this thought flashed, the dozens of black crows spit at them all at once. The fireball fluttered and fluttered after spitting, leaving a series of rattling sounds. Gaga, those three people are really ugly. This crow is still the most beautiful crow in the bird clan, sniff Ga. How much damage can the fireball sprayed by the fire crow, which was unable to transform, cause the three of them? It's not as deep as that language. Su Chen covered his heart and waved his sleeves to disperse the fireball. These dead fire crows should be caught and their feathers plucked out to see what face they have and what the first beautiful crow is. Guyao and Chi Changjai couldn't laugh or cry, but they weren't at the point of competing with the disfigured fire crow. After laughing, Guyao's mood suddenly fell a little. Chi Changjai clasped his fingers and said, remember Tian Firong and uncle. I have to say, Chi Changjai is the roundworm in Guyao's stomach. He sighed and smiled. Yeah, when I see the fire crow, I think of Tian Urge Swanya Pot, now it must be even more powerful in Tian'er's hands. I don't know if you have come to the spiritual world to show your prestige, and my uncle and Senior Joe, I think they have come to the spiritual world now. There is also her mother, the sect master, and the alchemists of Dangxia Peak. Not to mention, it's okay, as I mentioned that there are a lot of people they miss. Some people don't know if they have the opportunity to come to the spiritual world, and then I don't know if there will be a chance to see each other again. Before Guyao could feel sad for a while, the fire crow Jing, who flew away before, flew back again, and fluttered his wings desperately, and the rattling sound was even more piercing. Quack, run away, quack, quack, crow doesn't want to die. With a hula, a group of fire crows immediately collapsed. The three of them felt a little bit, and there was indeed a wave of fighting spirit in front of them. Looking at each other, they immediately restrained their breath and fled over there. After a while, they reached the vicinity of the fight. There were two groups of people, and the fight was extremely fierce. The most fiery fight in the air was the two cultivators. The three were far away. Both sides were cultivated by human beings, and the two cultivators in one body were fine. Guyao swept his gaze, let out a soft sound, and Qi Changjai said, "You also found out that one of them is actually Zhang Jingfeng's bodyguard, but there is no Zhang Jingfeng himself." Guyao didn't have time to think about it at all. The two cultivators above made a big move. The aura in the center exploded violently, and the storm of aura caused the cultivator below to retreat quickly to avoid being caught. The aftermath of the fight hurts. After a while of flying sand and rocks, the front calmed down a little. The two integrated monks returned to the front of their own team, facing each other. "Yan, just based on your strength, do you still want to keep all of our people today? Don't think that your conspiracy and tricks can win. Succeed. Wei, you are very loyal to Zhang Jingfeng's child, but unfortunately, Zhang Jingfeng's lineage is doomed to fail. You should join our Sheadong's house earlier. Isn't it better than running errands for Zhang Jingfeng's child?" Sure enough, it has something to do with Zhang Jingfeng. The current situation is not comparable to the situation of Double Star Firm, it is really more like the latter. "Oh, it's too early to talk big. It's not clear whether your young master can laugh to the end, surnamed Yan, don't be too complacent." "Haha, then let that kid Zhang Jingfeng let his horse come over. Our young master can handle any tricks, as long as that kid doesn't even dare to show his head. Haha, let's go." After a hula, a group of people left, and the next group was returned. It was headed by a fit cultivator surnamed Wei. In the secret realm, the guards beside Zhang Jingfeng that Guyao and the others had seen were also in this team. When the other group walked away completely, the normal-looking cultivator suddenly flushed, and someone around him rushed to take out the medicinal pill for him to take, and his face slowly changed. It turned out that the cultivator was not unscathed in the previous fight. If the competition goes on, it is very likely that they will show their tracks in front of the opponent. Just as Su Chen was about to ask Guyao and Qi Changjai if they wanted to show up, the cultivator Wei suddenly squinted and looked at the direction where they were hiding. "I don't know which Taoist friend is coming, and Wei's little tricks, I don't know if it can get into yours." As soon as the monk surnamed Wei said, the monks beside him immediately surrounded him and stared vigilantly at the direction where the monk surnamed Wei was looking. This place was very remote, so the other party would fight, but he was not afraid of being discovered. Therefore, the monks who will hide here, no matter how they look at it, are scheming. Since it's exposed, let's go out and say hello. Su Chen released his concealment and walked out of the dark. Guyao and Qi Changjai naturally followed him, and the three changed when they left Kyushu. His appearance, especially Su Chen, didn't want to make a high-profile announcement that he had returned to the spiritual world. It was easier for him to act in the dark. Wei Wei's pupils shrank suddenly when he saw the three of Su Chen, because Su Chen was a cultivator, but he was injured, his strength was damaged, and he was exposed to the other side's eyes. Su Chen flipped it in his hand, took out a folding fan, and fanned it a few times at will, with the style of a rich boy. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai twitched the corners of their mouths. Su Chen raised his eyebrows and said, "The three of us passed by this place unintentionally, and found that someone was fighting and didn't want to get involved, so why don't we just stay and watch the battle? Oh, I didn't expect you to find out so easily, obviously I hid it." "It's quite secret, you say, are you two guys exposed?" Speaking of the back, the fan closed and pointed at Gu Yao and Qi Changjai. Gu Yao moved the fan pointed at himself in a black line. "Yes, the two of us are not high in cultivation, which is a hindrance to the seniors." This explanation is reasonable, and Cultivator Wei doesn't want to provoke another enemy, so it is. "I don't know where the three are going. We are Dingxian Pavilion in Fengzhou. Our young master has always been hospitable. If the three are free, you can go to Dingxian Court." Dingxian Pavilion is well known in the Fengzhou realm, and reporting this name is also a deterrent to the other party. Su Chen clapped his palms with his fan. "It turned out to be Dingxian Pavilion. Okay, we will definitely go to Dingxian Pavilion to visit Yu Zhongjingfeng Zhang Sheadong's house when we have time." "Okay, the young master's family will definitely welcome you." Three fellow deists, let's say goodbye first. "Good to go." Wei Wei took the people and left quickly. From their point of view, the three of Su Chen seem to know the name of Dingxian Pavilion. As long as they are not against them, it doesn't matter where they come from. Following up, Wei Wei breathed a sigh of relief, and quickly ordered someone to find a hidden place to recuperate and adjust his breath, and report the situation here. Gu Yao and the others didn't follow up. They had already aroused the other party's vigilance, and if they followed up, the other party would think they had bad intentions, and they didn't want to fight with Zhang Jingfeng's people. Gu Yao sighed. "It seems that no matter where you go, there will be conflicts of interest. Zhang Jingfeng, Zhang Sheadong's family, seems to be targeted by competitors within Dingxian Pavilion." The previous conversation had already revealed the identities of the two parties. The two parties belonged to different factions in the Dingxian Pavilion, and the factions were competing with each other, and it seemed that they had reached a stage of intense heat. Qi Changjai said, "Let's go, find a city to inquire about the news. You should be able to inquire about some situations." Su Chen touched his chin and said, "I seem to remember some things about Dingxian Pavilion. Let's go, let's talk as we walk. Quickly find a city and have a good meal, and eat seafood cooked by your family all day long. I'm about to vomit." Qi Changjai lost two cold-eyed knives, and when he was about to vomit, he didn't see this guy take a few bites, and he would also urge him to cook more. Su Chen didn't feel any pain or itching. As he walked, he told the two about the Dingxian Pavilion that he recalled. The Dingxian Pavilion's status is indeed not low, and it has some reputation outside Fengzhou, so it used to be I have not dealt with and heard about it. When he knew about Dingxian Pavilion in the secret realm, Gu Yao didn't even think to ask Su Chen. Now, when he heard from the seniors that he actually knew about this business, he couldn't help but wonder. It seems that the scale of Dingxian Pavilion is really not small. Even longer, without sufficient strength support, it cannot be achieved at all. The competition within Dingxian Pavilion is very fierce. When the previous pavilion master is about to abdicate, the 10 young masters selected below will be screened and eliminated, and finally the elders will choose the best according to their achievements. As for those eliminated, almost a few survived. But once you become the winner and take the position of the pavilion owner, the resources you can mobilize and the benefits you get are very worthwhile. Therefore, knowing that you will die in the brutal elimination competition, there will still be batches of young owners participating in it, to compete for the final position of the head of the cabinet. Depending on the situation, maybe the competition of the 10 young masters is about to enter a critical moment. Gu Yao and Qi Changjai were speechless when they heard it. Before the other party seemed to think that Zhang Jingfeng was in this team. They wanted to rob Zhang Jingfeng. As soon as Zhang Jingfeng died, their team would naturally be defeated. This time, the three of them did not get lost, and they found a city where monks concentrated very smoothly. There was indeed a Dingxian pavilion in the city, but they went to the restaurant first. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 443. Wei Wei met Zhang Jingfeng and reported to him what happened this time. They would be targeted by another group. The purpose was to cover Zhang Jingfeng. For them, the necessary risks are to be taken, and when you set foot on this road, you are well prepared. You said that you met 3 unfamiliar monks on the road, 1 merged and 2 practiced the virtual. Yes, those 2 cultivators have a very strong aura, and it's not too far from a breakthrough. I really don't know which force cultivated them. It seems that their bearing is not like an ordinary loose cultivator. Yun Wei sketched the images of the 3 monks with spiritual energy. Zhang Jingfeng was not impressed, but let alone the entire spiritual world, there are thousands of monks in Fengzhou, and it is impossible to remember everyone's face. But if you can cultivate to the integration stage, you will always leave traces in the spiritual world. According to the situation you describe, there is a high possibility of passing by unintentionally. Even if they didn't make a move, they should not be coming at us. I ordered to go down. If you encounter the 3 of them, let the sub-pavilion take care of them, Zhang Jingfeng ordered. Yes, sir. Zhang Xiaodong's family in the secret block of Jueqi is somewhat casual and free and easy, while the current Zhang Jingfeng has a little more aggressiveness and indomitable aura, but his eyebrows are stained with a bit of sadness. Young master, what path did Wu Yuan and the others take to get the alchemist from Lingzhou to help them? It turns out that the young master has a great advantage, but the situation is a little dangerous now. They were Wu Yuan's men, but fortunately they got the news in advance and deliberately blinded the other party, so they escaped the disaster. Not only did Wu Yuan have an alchemist from Lingzhou to join him, but Wu Yuan somehow persuaded the other 2 forces to join forces temporarily to deal with Zhang Jingfeng together. So the situation is even more unfavorable for Zhang Jingfeng. Zhang Jingfeng thought of Guyao and Qi Changjai he met in the secret realm of Jueqi. He had been paying attention to these 2 people secretly until he returned to Fengzhou, and then their performance in Giwan Pavilion surprised him, because they were in the secret realm. Guyao didn't show much of his alchemy skills at all, otherwise Zhang Jingfeng's intention to win over would be stronger. After the 2 disappeared in the barren state, there was news that Jing was in Dongzhou, and what was even more unbelievable was that they had a great relationship with the blood-hired demon monk, and because of them, it directly led to Dongzhou. The Bai family was destroyed. Zhang Jingfeng also paid attention to the situation in Dongzhou because of the disintegration of the Bai clan. Only then did he discover the figures of Guyao and Qi Changjai. Unfortunately, the Bai family was destroyed. After that, the news was completely lost. Zhang Jingfeng didn't think anything happened to them. It was very likely that they were sent to retreat somewhere by the blood-slaughtering monster, because shortly after that, the blood-slaughtering demon monk also disappeared, and no news has come out until now. Zhang Jingfeng felt a little regretful. It's just a pity, and I feel that Guyao's alchemy technique is superb, but his cultivation is still a bit poor, and he can't compare with the alchemist from Lingzhou. Is he really going to lose this time? He was not reconciled. Until the last step, I will not admit defeat, we may not have no chance. In the restaurant, without the need for Guyao and the others to inquire, there are many monks talking about the fierce competition in Dingxian Pavilion. It can be seen that the competition between the young masters has really reached a white-hot stage, attracting the attention and gossip of many monks. It's a pity, I used to be very optimistic about Zhang Xiaodong's family, but I didn't expect to be caught up by Wu Xiaodong's family. Now there are a lot of gambling outside. Fang opened the bet, and more people betting that Wu Xiaodong's family would win in the end. Chen Xiaodong's family is not bad either. Chen Xiaodong's family is preparing to marry Fairy Ni, but behind Fairy Ni is the Peacock family. I want to tell you, now that Wu Xiaodong's family is full of energy, but still not as steady as Chen Xiaodong's family, the face of the Peacock family can't be good. No, you forgot about the destruction of the Bai family in Dongzhou decades ago, or you offended by Bingmo, hide it, then the big family will be gone in an instant. Take the Peacock family on a par with Bai Bingqi. How big are those peacocks? Let them come out and say whether they are worthy, not to mention the peacocks are really willing to come forward for Fairy Ni. If they have such a big face, why not ask the peacocks to help them directly? Chen Xiaodong's family takes the position of the pavilion master of Dingxian Pavilion. Who is belittling our peacock family? Stand up and speak. Why can't our peacock family be as good as Bai Bingqi? What's so great about those long worms huddled in their old nests all day? With this sound, with a bang, a table was smashed to pieces. Needless to say, it was the demon cultivator of the peacock family who was protesting angrily. Grandma is a bear, that's what I said. Why can't you say that, you bird people who know how to dress up all day long? Mother, the Taoist companion that I liked was hooked up by you bird people. I haven't found you guys yet, so come on, who's afraid of who? Cough cough cough. Screaming, coughing, and laughing, the voices below were chaotic, and then a strong pressure enveloped the restaurant, and the troublemaker was instantly relieved, and he might have to move to another place to continue to compete. The three looked at each other in dismay. They didn't expect that someone from Fengzhou would come up with the matter in Dongzhou decades later, and the situation in Dingxian Pavilion was much more complicated than they thought. After the riots were suppressed, the guests in the restaurant did not seem to be affected much. Perhaps this happens every day, and both the restaurant owner and the guests are used to it. Knowing that there were demon cultivators from the Peacock family in the restaurant, everyone avoided them and Fairy Ni, and talked about that Wu Yuan, Wu Xiaodong's family. Of course, there were still cultivators who fought for Zhang Xiaodong's family. Hey, what's the use of you being optimistic about Zhang Xiaodong's family? Do you know who the foreign aide Wu Xiaodong's family is looking for this time? If you knew, you wouldn't continue to stand by Zhang Xiaodong's family. Where did the foreign aide come from? There is an ancestor of the Zhang family behind Zhang Xiaodong's family, and Zhang Xiaodong's family has also settled the Zhang family's ambitious children to their current positions. Don't forget the Zhang family's ancestor, that is the Mahayana monk. Oh, you still don't believe that your news is behind. Even if the ancestors of the Zhang family are Mahayana monks, they are more powerful than us monks, but it is not us ordinary monks who are competing with Zhang Xiaodong's family. And this time, the foreign aid that Wu Xiaodong's family brought came from Lingzhou. Where is Lingzhou still, need me to say? With a crack, Su Chen bit off the bone of a roasted bird's wing, spat out 2 pieces of bone ba, and looked downstairs in the direction of the speaker in the hall. Guyao and Qi Changjai were also surprised to hear that they were from Lingzhou. Is it related to them and Senior Su Chen? You must know that when they showed up in Dongzhou, they must have attracted the attention and suspicion of interested people, so this monk from Lingzhou could not help attracting their attention. When they first came to the spirit world in Biacheng in the deserted state, they heard alchemist Ye talk about the spirit world's alchemy session. When Lingzhou was the top one, especially when there was an alchemy pavilion in Lingzhou, the two deduced that Su Chen must have come from the spirit world. State, the biggest possibility is that it is involved with the pill pavilion in Lingzhou, and even more. Guyao boldly speculates that the power of the pill pavilion in Lingzhou may also have a great connection with the pill pavilion on his body. The monks who were talking about the foreign aid that Wu Xiaodong's family invited were unknown except that they came from Lingzhou, and they could not hear any useful relief. The three paid Lingxi and left the restaurant, looking for an inn to stay first. It just so happened that when they rented a yard to pay Lingxi, The shopkeeper Jing Ran claimed that the young master ordered to give them a 20% discount for the 3 responsible guests, and then asked again, this inn actually belongs to Dingxian Pavilion. Unexpectedly, the business of Dingxian Pavilion is so extensive, and it is the same wherever it is chosen. Needless to say, it was the cultivator Wei who explained what happened to them on the road, and he didn't know whether he really liked them or Zhang Jingfeng was short of people. After entering the yard, Su Chen, who didn't make a loud noise when he heard people mentioning Lingzhou, suddenly raised his head and said, "Don't you know that Zhang Xiaodong's family? Contact him and see who is coming from Lingzhou. Senior, you. What if the other party's cultivation base exceeds that of the senior? Is it not self-inflicted to come forward now? Don't worry, the self-protection ability is still a little bit. If you are really invincible, you just run away from yours, especially Guyao. Remember, you must not expose it." Su Chen urged that the pill on Guyao's body, the pavilion, must not reveal it. Su Chen looked at Qi Changjai seriously when he said this, and he must run with Guyao when necessary. As for him, without the pill pavilion, the use value for those people would not be so great. Okay, Guyao dared to agree. Now that they have entered Zhang Jingfeng's site, it is very convenient to contact him. Guyao and the others took out the token given by Zhang Jingfeng in the secret realm and handed it to the man. After a while, the shopkeeper came to the door and asked them identity, and why. At the beginning, the owner of the token let us pass through Fengzhou with the token. Now we come to Lingzhou. I didn't expect the guest money to be settled in Dingxian Pavilion. It seems that the fate of the token owner is not shallow. It turns out that the 3 distinguished guests will wait a moment, we will arrange it immediately. The shopkeeper didn't know the identity of these 3 people at all, and he didn't dare to promise that the owner of the token would come to see them. After all, the young master was stared at by many people at this juncture, but there was nothing wrong with this token belonging to the young master. The token was quickly delivered to Zhang Jingfeng in another city through the hand of the shopkeeper. Zhang Jingfeng was shocked when he saw the token, especially since the token came from 3 monks Wei Wei accidentally met on the way. So, the 2 cultivators Wei Wei spoke of who had mastered the illusory refinement were Guyao and Qi Changjai, who met in the secret realm back then. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 444. This result is really amazing for Zhang Jingfeng. He is only in the middle stage of virtual refining. This is under the circumstance that resources are given priority to him. Compared with the monks of the same generation, he can be regarded as outstanding, but compared with Guyao and Qi Changjai, I didn't expect the distance to be so wide. The distance between 2 small steps is not that easy to cross. He has been able to advance so fast in the past few decades, thanks to the opportunity in the secret realm, the news from the West State and the East State before. Qi Changjai is also in the middle stage of the virtual practice. Good guy. I'm going to see them in person, you make arrangements, we'll set off immediately. Wei Wei didn't expect that the monk he met on the way would be an old acquaintance of the young master, so it is not accidental that they leaked their breath, maybe it was because they recognized one of us. But is it necessary for the young master to go in person? We will send someone, it's enough to invite them over, and Wei Mao can also make a trip in person. The other party is a fit cultivator, and he is also a fit cultivator, so it won't be rude for him to invite him. Zhang Jingfeng walked a few steps back and forth in the hall, then stopped and said, "No, I'll go there myself. Don't you think the origins of these 2 monks are very mysterious? According to the monks in the wild state in the secret realm, they came from the lower realm, but the master of the Giwen Pavilion has a different look with the superb alchemy skills, and there are all the monks with advanced cultivation around him. Why did the blood slaughter monk show up, and now there is a fit senior next to him? It's really weird. It is precisely because of the situation we are in that I need to make a trip in person, and we cannot let go of any possible opportunity." The news that came out of Giwan Pavilion in Huangzhou at the beginning, the alchemy of Guyao surpassed his cultivation level. Even if it doesn't help us right now, such an alchemist is very worthy of our friendship asterisk. Wei Wei couldn't convince Zhang Jingfeng, so he could only arrange the strip. He must ensure Zhang Jingfeng's safety. Zhang Jingfeng did not represent him alone, but a chain formed by various interests. He was on a rope with Zhang Jingfeng. After the three of Guyao handed over the token, they waited with peace of mind, and then they practiced when they should, and went out for a walk when they should go out. After listening to the messy gossip in their ears, there is no more information about the monks from Lingzhou. Those gossips made them laugh and cry. Compared with the demon cultivators in Dongzhou, the flying birds here seem to be too active. It seems that these bird races are even more unscrupulous. They can often hear who has dug whose corners, which cultivators have made a big fight, and even some demon cultivators are proud of this. Only in this way can their charm be highlighted. Su Chen often disliked it when he heard it, but once there was any liveliness, he immediately called Shang Guyao to watch, and Qi Changjai had to keep up. As a result, Zhang Jingfeng rushed over, but was told by the shopkeeper that the three monks went out to watch the fun. The shopkeeper wiped his sweat. The Bailing clan's King of Singers contest has begun. That Senior Su wanted to vote for a Bailing clan cultivator he liked, so he pulled the other two fellow Taoists together. Wei Wei was also sweating when he heard it, but he was still vigilant when he first saw that fellow Daoist Su, thinking that his appearance was deliberately displayed at the time, but he did not expect his true temperament to be revealed. Zhang Jingfeng also couldn't help laughing and crying, "Forget it, no need to send someone to look for it, let's go directly to the Bailing clan." Therefore, Zhang Jingfeng and his party rushed to the Bailing clan without stopping. Among the demon birds, the Bailing clan is not strong and its status is not high, but most of the Bailing clan have a good voice and are sought after by many monks, so Bailing the clan gave full play to their strengths, and held a Song King contest every once in a while, which formed a feature and attracted monks from other clans to compete with them. When Zhang Jingfeng and his entourage arrived at the Bailing clan land smoothly, the place could be described as well-dressed, with flowers blooming everywhere, and the well-dressed bird monks who were walking among the exotic flowers and plants. There are all kinds of styles in the gorgeous and fresh style. There are also many Bailings standing on the treetops in their original form, showing their singing voices to the guests, and all kinds of melodious chirping sounds merged into fairy music, which makes people linger. Zhang Jingfeng had only been here for a while, and he felt that the painting disputes in Dingxian Pavilion were all gathered behind his head. This is really a place where people can forget their troubles. Fortunately, he still remembered the task, and asked the person who led the way, "Where are the alchemists and the others?" "I'll take the young master over there." The place where Zhang Jingfeng was taken was a temporary stage, which was much more upscale. There was not only a stage, but also a band accompanied by a fairy to accompany the dance. Zhang Jingfeng looked at the beautiful scenery on the stage and couldn't help but doubt that he had been in vain all those years ago. After that, he never came to see it. "Master, the cultivator in Huafu in the middle is the Bailing cultivator that Senior Su has been following for the past 2 days. In fact, I want to say that this cultivator's singing voice is not the best, but he has the best appearance, so, ahem. He suspects that Senior Su's pursuit of this person is purely for the sake of his beauty." "Master, I saw it, they are there." Wei Wei found the positions of the three and pointed it to Zhang Jingfeng. Zhang Jingfeng looked and saw that among the 3 people sitting at the round table, one of them was intoxicated and looked at the beat on the stage. The senior was attracted by the beauty of the monk on the stage. Cough, Zhang Jingfeng clenched his fist and coughed, "Let's go over." Before they got close, Guyao and Qi Changjai found Zhang Jingfeng's arrival. For the past 2 days, Guyao has been covered with black lines. Since he was pulled here by Su Chen, he deeply doubted that Su Chen would be targeted by the master. The root cause must be Su Chen himself, and he must be watching the master. The appearance is too outstanding, and I leaned over it, but I can't get rid of it. Good singing. One more song. At the end of the song, Su Chen clapped his hands and shouted, waving his hand and throwing more than a dozen flowers on the stage. Other viewers also threw flowers. Harika and Chi Changjai threw the flowers at their hands together. Senior, Zhang Xiaodong's house is here. Gu Yao patted him on the shoulder and reminded them that they were still serious about their business, having fun, or something. Su Chen patted off Gu Yao's hand in annoyance, turned his head and glanced at Zhang Jingfeng and the others who came over. I'll come when I'm here. He also muttered in his heart, it's not that he hasn't seen it before, where can he get it? The little beauty on the stage is half a point. Zhang Jingfeng made a new discovery. The relationship between Gu Yao and the senior Su is really good, not like the elders and juniors, but more like close friends. Although Gu Yao and Chi Changjai both have unfamiliar faces, after knowing the identities of the two, it is easy to judge who is who from their temperament, but if they hadn't exposed themselves, Zhang Jingfeng would have couldn't recognize them. Zhang Jingfeng walked over with a smile on his face. He clasped his fists together for many years. The two of them were so diligent in their cultivation that Zhang was ashamed. I was even happier when you came to me. There is also Senior Su, the junior. Zhang Jingfeng has seen Senior Su. Su Chen looked at him and greeted him with a smile. Gu Yao asked them to sit down and talk. Although Zhang Jingfeng did not expect this situation, he was very calm. He accompanied Gu Yao and the others to chat and laugh without mentioning any serious business. It was obvious that Su Chen was a person who likes to be lively, so he specially introduced Feng Zhou to them. Famous places and various events. I have to say that Feng Zhou has more places to play than other states, and it is a very prosperous state. Zhang Jingfeng was still very enthusiastic about the venue, so his subordinates bought a lot of flowers and threw them to the monks that Su Chen was after. It was not until it was getting dark that Su Chen did not care. Unfinished, he got up and left. They lived in the Bailing clan at night. Su Chen went to his room to rest, and they stayed with Zhang Jingfeng to talk to Zhang Jingfeng. Their topic was easily turned to the competition of the young masters of Dingxian Pavilion, and this matter in the territory of Beijing Fengzhou was basically a hot topic for everyone. Gu Yao didn't make excuses for himself at all, and asked directly, I heard that your competitor Wu Xiaodong has foreign aid from Lingzhou around him. Can you know the origin of this person? Zhang Jingfeng found a reason for Gu Yao in his heart. For alchemists, there is no one who does not yearn for Lingzhou, so he naturally looks at the alchemists who come from Lingzhou, and may even give birth to one of them. Idea. I didn't expect you to hear about this when you first came to Fengzhou. Wu Yuan is one of my competitors. There's nothing I can't tell people about him. The foreign aid he brought in has been around for more than a year. Now, the leader of the alchemist is from Lingzhou called Lingyuan Building. There is a first-grade alchemist behind Lingyuan Building. Without a first-grade alchemist, it is easy to be crowded out by other forces and unable to enter the center of Lingzhou. But it is precisely because of his identity that after coming to Fengzhou, Wu Yuan, relying on the identity and origin of this alchemist Shen, has drawn many alchemists to the past, including my third-rank alchemist here. The third-rank alchemist, it's very important to our game, and if I can't find help, I will probably lose the game. You may not know much about the way we compete. Dingxian Pavilion is doing business anyway, so it depends on how much profit we can create in a certain period of time. The people in the general pavilion can't interfere. As for how many connections they can draw, it all depends on their own abilities, and of course, the help of our respective forces behind us is indispensable. These are all allowed by the rules, and those methods that are not very fair in the competition process are also turned a blind eye. Gu Yao was struck dumb. The alchemist from Lingzhou is so good that even a third-grade alchemist from Zhang Xiaodong's family can't win over. Lingyuan Building, I don't know what kind of power it is. He and Chi Changjai knew very little about Lingzhou. They only knew a little about the original alchemist yet. Zhang Jingfeng explained, the third-grade alchemists trained by the major forces are very difficult to win, and these alchemists who will rely on our business, in fact, are not interested in the alchemy technique of the alchemist Shen himself, but want to borrow it. Taking his ladder to Lingzhou, if there is no alchemist to recommend, and there is no power to rely on, the external alchemist will be under great pressure to survive there, and it will be difficult to stand out, unless the talent of alchemy is outstanding. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 445. Zhang Jingfeng saw Gu Yao's expression of contemplation, and then continued, "The purpose of my special visit to meet the two of you this time, I think it is not difficult for the two fellow deists to guess, both the reunion of old friends and the news of the reunion. The ancient alchemist once had an outstanding performance in Biwangqinj in the barren state. If Zhang can overcome the difficulties this time and successfully take over the position of the pavilion master, it is still possible to find a place for the ancient alchemist to find a place to live in Lingzhou. Although the Lingyuan building behind alchemist Shen seems to be stronger, how can it be so easy to enter the Lingyuan building, not to mention that the alchemy talent of the ancient alchemist is not under the alchemist Shen, that one is missing. Such a broad-minded person." Gu Yao raised his head and glanced at Zhang Jingfeng with a smile. It seemed that he was really pushed to the point of nowhere. He tried his best to win over a cultivator of virtual reality. Without revealing his identity, he went to Lingzhou through Zhang Jingfeng. Indeed a good way. Zhang Xiaodong's family trusts Gu's alchemy so much. Gu has not yet merged, and he can't compare to that third-rank alchemist. Zhang Jingfeng was stunned for a moment, and then said, "Alchemist Gu has agreed. No matter what the outcome is, if Alchemist Gu is willing to stand by Zhang and help me at this juncture, this kindness is enough for Zhang to remember in his heart. I am willing to hire an ancient alchemist with 5 top-quality spirit stones per month as a special offering. If Zhang fails unfortunately, he will surely send the ancient alchemist and fellow deist Qi out of Fengzhou safely, and the Zhang family still has some foundation in Fengzhou." Gu Yao and Qi Changjai glanced at each other, nodded and agreed. They needed a cover to make it easier for them to walk in Fengzhou, and Zhang Jingfeng actually got what they needed. Besides, after staying on that island for decades, no amount of spirit grass around them can keep up with their consumption rate. At the level of Gu Yao and Su Chen, collecting spirit grass is not so easy. It is much more convenient to have Dingxian Pavilion. But Gu Yao also has conditions. We hope this is just a cooperation between us and Zhang Xiaodong's family. Since Zhang Xiaodong's family knows what we have done in barren state, they must also know that we have a lot of troubles. If our identity is exposed, we have to leave. Then I can only be sorry for Zhang Xiaodong's family." Zhang Jingfeng breathed a sigh of relief, and felt that Gu Yao's requirements were not high. When it came to revealing his identity, he was the first to not want it. A cultivator, connected with Gu Yao and Qi Changjai who are now in Fengzhou. If he can't protect himself, he has no reason to force people to stay. "Okay, I agree. Zhang Shao is refreshing." Zhang Jingfeng and Gu Yao slapped each other in the ear and made a verbal agreement, giving each other a lot of freedom. Zhang Jingfeng left, and Gu Yao went to the next door to tell Su Chen about the results of the negotiation. Their original intention was to observe the alchemist from Lingzhou up close, and the opportunity to join Zhang Jingfeng's side was absolutely inevitable. The reason why Su Chen was not allowed to come forward was because he was worried that some people were too familiar with his alchemy techniques, and to see through his identity through his alchemy habit, it was better for Su Chen to temporarily hide behind the scenes. Otherwise, if Su Chen came forward, what should the third-grade alchemist of Lingyuan building have to worry about? Su Chen was the top 10. In other words, Gu Yao is placed in front of him to explore the way. On the other hand, Zhang Jingfeng also told Wei Wei and others about the result, but Wei Wei and the others were not very optimistic. Zhang Jingfeng said, "I understand what you think. No matter how you look at it, this is a good start, isn't it?" We still have some time, and we can find a way to find other third-grade alchemists, but the results are not ideal. If there is an ancient alchemist who can support a little bit, even if we lose, it will not be too ugly. The big deal is to go to other states to take care of the branch. The ancestor of the Zhang family is also a Mahayana cultivator. As long as he can survive the competition, the general pavilion will not give Zhang family this kind of sympathy. Wei Wei nodded. Young master is right, we can't relax next time. Feng Zhou can't, we can go to other states to find foreign aid. In fact, we can also get in touch with Giwen Pavilion in Huangzhou. Yes, although the conditions of the barren state are not comparable to our Fengzhou, the Giwen Pavilion is unique and does not belong to any party. The more they discussed, the more positive they became. The car may not have no way to the front of the mountain. Maybe there will be another village in the dark. Su Chen was not the one who took Xiao. After a night of rest, he reluctantly said goodbye to the little beauty the next day, and left with Zhang Jingfeng and the others. The appearance of relying on others made Gu Yao want to stay far away. Yes, as if you don't know this guy. Maybe Zhang Jingfeng's trip was too sudden, leaving his opponent unprepared. When he wanted to send someone to rob and kill again, the other party had already returned, and the robbery could not succeed, but he also had to figure out why he was on this trip. After checking and searching, they found Gu Yao and the three of them. Unfortunately, the information on the three of them is very little. In a short period of time, it is impossible to find out their origins, but it is obvious that they know Zhang Jingfeng, so Zhang Jingfeng only he took a special risk and rushed to see him, and brought it back to Fengming City to become a special worship by his side. The one worthy of attention is Su Chen, the integrated cultivator. In any case, under the circumstance that the Mahayana tribulation cultivator rarely takes action, the integrated cultivator can be said to be the backbone of the spiritual world, and these young masters can mobilize the most. A strong force is a body cultivator, and one more body is definitely not good for other competitors. But according to the news, Zhang Jingfeng seemed to have more respect for a cultivator named Yao Liangxu who was beside the fit cultivator. Fengming City is the location of Dingxian Pavilion's main pavilion. It is a city with a particularly developed business, and it is mainly based on human cultivation. As long as you enter the city, the 10 competing young masters on the bright side will not take action, otherwise they will be punished. The opponent seized the handle and expelled from the competition. Because of this, Zhang Jingfeng specially sent people to take Gu Yao and the three around the city. As a commercial city, there are still many places to play in the city. As for Zhang Jingfeng himself, he is often too busy to see people, but remember that according to the agreement, in addition to the 1-year offering in advance, a lot of spirit grasses were also sent to Gu Yao for alchemy. Of course, the accommodation arranged for the three of them is also a place with very good aura conditions. After not staying for a few days, Gu Yao sighed, and it was much easier than working hard for himself. No wonder so many loose cultivators are willing to choose to rely on others. Under power. No matter where they live or when they go out to play, they can always feel eyes watching them. Needless to say, these eyes are from Zhang Jingfeng's opponents. When Gu Yao's identity as an alchemist is revealed, I don't know what tricks are there. Following them. Young Master Wu, I heard, someone hurried into the hall to report to Wu Yuan. Wu Yuan sat comfortably on the main seat, holding a cup of tea in his hand and sniffing the aroma of the tea. Zhang Jingfeng was full of arrogance, and Wu Yuan belonged to the type of boys and girls. The faces don't match. Wu Yuan raised his eyes and said, "What did you hear?" When the visitor heard Wu Yuan's displeasure, his scalp tightened, and he quickly reported honestly, "It's Zhang Jingfeng's side, the monk surnamed Yao he brought back is an alchemist." Zhang Jingfeng not only went to the yard where they lived. He sent a lot of spirit herbs, and his subordinates heard someone call him Alchemist Yao. Before Wu Yuan could speak, a person next to him sneered disapprovingly, a alchemist in the virtual refining stage. Zhang Jingfeng is not going to the end of the road, and wants to rely on a fourth-rank alchemist to fight us in the arena. He might as well admit defeat earlier, save money. It's embarrassing when you get it. Just as he was talking, someone came in outside, and seeing the person coming, not only did the other cultivators present become respectful, but even Wu Yuan got up to greet him, and said very politely, "How could Alchemist Shen want to come out and walk away today?" But the people below are not attentive. Alchemy Shen told me that no matter what the request is, Wu will do it for Alchemy Shen. The person who came was Shen Xing, a third-grade alchemist, and he was accompanied by two cultivators, a man and a woman. Even when he came to Wu Yuan, he did not restrain the arrogance on his face. Alchemist Shen said, "It's either meditation or alchemy all day long. This alchemist is a little tired, so he goes out for a walk. What are you talking about in the alchemy stage?" Wu Yuan smiled and said, "Alchemist Shen also knew that my biggest competitor before was Zhang Jingfeng, but with the help of Alchemist Shen, Zhang Jingfeng's situation has plummeted, and the third-rank alchemist he had trained was rejected by Wu Yuan. After a certain digging, he can't even find a third-grade alchemist now, so he has to lower his requirements and find a fourth-grade alchemist who has a cultivation base. Wu's success today is entirely dependent on Alchemist Shen. In the future, Alchemist Shen will also be the most important noble person in my Dingxian pavilion." A smug look flashed on Shen Xing's face. Wu Xiaodong's family is very polite, Ben Alchemist is just a little effort, and Ben Alchemist is very satisfied with the hospitality of Wu Xiaodong's family. The void refining male disciple behind Shen Xing raised his eyebrows and said, "The fourth-grade alchemist that Zhang Jingfeng found? Master, why don't you let the disciples try it out? Let's see what kind of thing they found. Really let this kind of person take action. Doesn't it seem that Master is very shameless? That kind of thing is also worthy of Master's opponent." Shen Xing said indifferently, "You can do it if you want, and it's okay to teach you a lesson." The male disciple happily stepped forward, "Yes, Master, don't worry. This disciple and junior sister will definitely let these alchemists outside know what a frog in a well is, and they won't disappoint Master." Shen Xing waved his hand. He didn't like this kind of small role at all. The apprentice could play if he wanted to, just the third-grade alchemist Wu Yuan dug from Zhang Jingfeng. If it wasn't for Wu Yuan's big event, Shen Xing would seem is not willing to be perfunctory, and even this kind of alchemist cannot even enter the ranks of third rank in Lingzhou. Wu Yuan and his subordinates were also very happy. Alchemist Shen's disciples took the initiative to attack Zhang Jingfeng, but they couldn't ask for it. The two alchemists will definitely succeed in their actions, and the two alchemists need to say whatever they need. Gao Tian and Jin Qiu's eyes lit up. Since others came to the door, of course they would not be polite. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 446. Another month passed, and the account books of the various shops under Zhang Jingfeng's name were collected to him. When the people under his command looked at these account books, their faces became more and more ugly. Although there was no shortage of other commodities, but in Dan the lack of medicine has caused the reputation of the shops to drop significantly, affecting the sales of other commodities, and many shops are in a state of loss. To make matters worse, many cooperative suppliers have interrupted their continued cooperation with them. The interruption of any link will lead to a series of problems. If the supply is not solved in time, the entire industry chain will face collapse. The air pressure in the conference hall was getting lower and lower, and the people who had just entered were afraid to speak. It must be the kid with the surname Wu who is doing the trick. I don't believe that the cooperation will suddenly be interrupted after so many years. Some businesses do not look at Zhang Jingfeng's face, but also look at the ancestors of the Zhang family behind Zhang Jingfeng, so someone must have destroyed it. maliciously embarrassing Zhang Jingfeng. In addition to the surnamed Wu, there are several other companies that must have also started. Those guys really want to completely defeat them first, but then compete with each other. Wei Wei asked aloud, is there still no result for the Kui Danji who sent people to contact? Do you want to send more people? Set the conditions higher. Zhang Jingfeng sighed and said, no need, that alchemist Kui was also pulled over by Wu Yuan. Speaking of this alchemist Kui, he also has some connections with Guyao. It was the third-grade alchemist who was expelled by Pavilion Master Wen of Giwan Pavilion decades ago. He didn't know her origin, so he sent someone to try to get in touch with her. But after learning her identity later, Zhang Jingfeng was not at all surprised that she would choose Wu Yuan. Needless to say, like other alchemists, it was the Ling Zhou beside him who took a fancy to Wu Yuan. Third-rank alchemist, Alchemist Kui also wanted to use Alchemist Shen to enter Ling Zhou. Several monks in the hall smiled wryly, this is really driving them into a desperate situation. At this time, the guard Zhang next to Zhang Jingfeng walked in from the outside. He felt that the atmosphere in the hall was not very good, and he was a little hesitant. Seeing this, Zhang Jingfeng asked what was going on with Yao Danji. Zhang Huwei just came back from Guyao's side, and others are not optimistic about Guyao, but Zhang Jingfeng has not given up. Zhang Huwei stepped forward and gave a list, this is the list of spirit herbs that Yao Danji needs. Before Zhang Huwei's words were finished, there was a lot of discussion immediately. Their shop would not be able to open, and they would spend so much spirit grass to raise an alchemist who was not necessary for them. How much resources did Zhang Jingfeng put into the supply of the third-grade alchemist before, but he just patted his and left, and this time he was not afraid of raising another white-eyed wolf. Master, how talented is this guy named Yao? Until now, he can't get in, don't come out to deceive people. Look at the spirit grasses on this list, how much is the amount of spirit stones sold outside? Young master, we are currently in a very difficult period, and the supply of spirit grasses is tight. One by one, they persuaded Zhang Jingfeng to act cautiously. Even Wei Wei felt that the ancient alchemist had too much appetite when he saw the spirit herbs listed on the list. But now they can't put all the resources on the ancient alchemist, what if they find another third-grade alchemist? Master, why does alchemist Yao need these third-grade spirit grasses? Isn't it too wasteful? To be honest, Zhang Jingfeng's brows jumped when he saw it, even he was about to think that Guyao was using the guise of an alchemist to deceive the spirit herbs. Press the eyebrows. Young master, Zhang Huwei said at this moment, Alchemist Yao asked me to hand over this storage bag to the young master, which contains the pills made by Alchemist Yao. Medicine. Zhang Jingfeng felt a little comfort in his heart. Anyway, it's not just that he can't get in or out. I'll take a look at this Bhutan medicine. Zhang Jingfeng's spiritual sense penetrated into the storage bag, swept it and stood up suddenly, with surprise in his eyes. Master, what's the matter? What kind of elixir did Alchemist Yao concoct? Zhang Jingfeng didn't answer their questions directly, but waved the jade bottle from the storage bag and put it on the table in front of him. Everyone, see for yourself. Zhang Jingfeng even held a jade bottle tightly. Dragged in hand. One after another, the consciousness swept across these jade bottles, and then changed his face like Zhang Jingfeng, and rushed over to open the jade bottle to check with his eyes. 4th grade advanced pill. This is also a 4th grade high-level pill. This is the top pill of the 4th rank. These medicinal pills were all refined by Alchemist Yao alone. Master, what kind of medicine is in the jade bottle in your hand? Originally, these people didn't have any expectations for Guyao's alchemy level. As a result, they have now sent a bunch of 4th grade high-level top-level pills, and the quality is not bad. There are high-grade and even top-grade pills. Behind the corner, the 4th grade alchemist they hired was almost gone, so even the supply of 4th grade medicinal pills was a problem. This batch of 4th grade medicinal pills can alleviate their current predicament to a certain extent. Of course, to solve it completely, you still need 3 grades of pills. Zhang Jingfeng couldn't resist the excitement in his heart, and his voice trembled as he said, "The one I have here is Sanpin Heiwan Dan." A golden yellow Heiwan Dan appeared in front of everyone, and everyone was excited. "It's really Heiwan Dan. Tear, who pinch me, this Heiwan Dan was really sent by Yao Dan? Was it made by him? This is a middle grade Heiwan Dan. Before that guy can only refine a low grade Heiwan Dan, and he can only get a middle grade product by luck. Master, should we go to Alchemist Yao to find out who made this mid-grade Heiwan pill?" Zhang Jingfeng tried his best to calm his excitement. "Don't ask, I believe that Alchemist Yao will not use other people's medicinal pills to recharge. Haven't you heard from Zhang Huiwei that all the medicinal pills sent are made by Alchemist Yao? The level of alchemy surpasses the genius of spiritual power cultivation." Zhang Jingfeng couldn't tell the truth to these subordinates and tell them Gu Yao's true identity. He first emerged in Giwan Pavilion, and coupled with the mysterious background, Zhang Jingfeng had reason to suspect that Gu Yao had acquired a very bright alchemy inheritance. Therefore, Gu Yao, a cultivator of alchemy, took the lead in the level of alchemy and has entered the ranks of 3rd grade alchemists. In other words, he has another 3rd grade alchemist. Wei Wuxian said that the young master had a good vision. Before, he had to personally go and pick up people. If not, he would pick up a 3rd grade alchemist, which is really great. "Master," Wei Wei said quickly, "did we prepare all the spirit herbs that Alchemist Yao needs and send them over?" Looking at these spirit herbs, Alchemist Yao probably wants to refine other 3rd grade medicinal herbs. Yes, it must be prepared. No, give a little more, others have no objection. The value of a 3rd grade alchemist is much greater than that of a 4th grade alchemist. Of course, the treatment will also be greatly improved. Zhang Jingfeng nodded. "I will prepare it myself, and then send it to Alchemist Yao to express my apology and gratitude to Alchemist Yao. Also, you must be tight-lipped about Alchemy Yao's situation. Yes, we must be strictly guarded, and we must not let Alchemist Yao's true level of alchemy spread out, and we have to give Alchemy Yao another place. I think the cave dwelling where the 3rd rank alchemist lived was given to Alchemist Yao. Anyway, that guy can't come back, and what are you keeping? I think I can." One by one, they were discussing how to improve Gu Yao's treatment. Zhang Jingfeng let them get excited, and brought Zhang Guard to choose the spirit grass. Only he can show his sincerity by going there in person. As for Gu Yao, if he wants to get the 3rd grade spirit grass to practice the 3rd grade medicine pill, he must show his results. It happened that the last batch of spirit grasses had the materials for refining the Heiwan pill, so he used the refined medicine. Heiwan Dan was sent out, and with this fact, Zhang Jingfeng should not be reluctant to give up the 3rd grade spirit grass. After practicing a few pots of elixir, Su Chen, who couldn't be idle, was dragged out to go shopping again. Qi Changjai was worried about the two of them. Su Chen had lived for a long time, but his actions and prudence were not compatible at all. They saw on the street that a shop specializing in robes had launched several new styles, which attracted many young monks to rush to buy them, driving up the price beyond their own value. I heard people mention it when I was shopping before. This is also a shop opened by a bird monk. Most of the robes are made of collected bird feathers. In terms of beauty, other robes are difficult to compare, so they are very popular among the human race. The nun loves it. Gu Yao only had one thought when he heard it. If his uncle was here, he would definitely not go to this store less, maybe he would open a branch of Fenyinga to fight with them. The shop was very lively, but neither Gu Yao nor Qi Changjai would buy this gorgeous style of robes, so they wanted to pull Su Chen away. Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up and he didn't want to leave. "Well, it's going to be crowded again. What's the matter? Which two parties robbed it? Haha, one is from the bird clan, male, the other is a human cultivator, and the female. Both sides like a robe at the same time, both of which are not inferior to the spirit stone, so neither is willing to give in. Fellow deist, senior doesn't know, some male demon cultivators of the bird race also like to wear brightly colored robes, preferably the same color as their feathers, and some even collect their shed feathers and send them to come to the store and ask the store owner to help you order a special one. After talking for a while, two monks, a man and a woman, jumped out and started fighting. Fortunately, they were concerned about the rules of the city, and did not use their spiritual power, but just added fists and feet together. Did not stop. You don't look in the mirror to see how ugly you are, you're so ugly, you're so hypocritical. The female cultivator's mouth was poisonous enough, and she was scolding the male demon cultivator who had ganged up with her. Bah! What do you guys know about you? You are the ugly one in the eyes of our demon cultivator. I want to be as beautiful as I want. Let me tell you, I've got this robe, even if it's destroyed, it won't be. Give it to you, just give up. The male demon Jiu with 5 short stat years was not weak at all. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 447. Su Chen saw the appearance of this male demon Jiu and sprayed. Su Chen has always had extremely high requirements on his appearance, and he really couldn't help but match this male demon's appearance with beautiful characters. Where did this guy come from? Feeling so good about himself. It turned out to be him. I thought I was a demon cultivator of some race. It would be no surprise if this guy was there. I told my senior, a cultivator next to him enthusiastically introduced Su Chen. Although this guy is also a member of the bird race, but in fact the race he belongs to can't fly at all, can't fly, because their bodies are too heavy, haha. Who bullied our brothers? Here we are. At this moment, another group of monks ran over here. When their true colors were revealed, the onlookers sprayed together, because these monks were the same as the male demon monks before. It is the kind with 5 short bodies, short hands, and short legs, and a particularly sturdy body. Contacting their images, a name popped up in Guyao's mind, and the cultivator who happened to be introducing Su Chen also reported their race. Senior, don't you know, they belong to the penguin family, haha, living in the ice and snow. Obviously the basic it's black and white, but I ran out and bought those brightly colored clothes. Haha, it turned out to be their family. I've only heard of their names before and never met them. Haha, it's so funny. Su Chen burst into laughter, making it too late for Guyao to ask his seniors to restrain themselves. Natural race is like this, it's not good to laugh at others like this. Moreover, the image of beauty in the eyes of human cultivators is not necessarily the same in the eyes of some demon cultivators. Each ethnic group has its own aesthetics. With the help of his companions, the male demon cultivator seemed to be a lot weaker on the female cultivator's side. She was so angry that she smashed the radiant robe on the male demon cultivator's head and left with her companions angrily. Of course, she was about to leave. He also said before, telling the male demon Jiu not to be alone, otherwise he will beat him every time he sees it. The male demon cultivator won a big victory, bought the robe proudly, and left swaggeringly surrounded by his fellow clan, adding a lot of laughs to the crowd of monks. Of course, the store owner was the biggest winner. I have to say, there is a lot of fun to watch shopping here. Because of its prosperous business, Fengming City attracts many bird tribes. They also want to do business and earn spiritual stones to make a living, but not all bird tribes have that kind of business. Mind, and thus made a lot of jokes. Guyao said that this is actually a city with a strong atmosphere of life. There are also shops that sell bugs that the bird tribe loves to eat. The fat bugs are a little scary when they are piled together, which reminds Guyao and Chi Changjai of the 2 days in the Bailing tribe, and they also used bugs to entertain this guest. It is roasted and then sprinkled with spices, not to mention that it is still loved by some people. Alchemy Yao, Alchemist Yao. Hearing someone calling from behind, the three stopped and looked back, only to see the guards on the side of the inn where they were temporarily staying, shouting to them as they ran. Alchemy Yao, I finally found Alchemy Yao. The guard ran over and hurriedly said, young master asked me to tell Alchemist Yao one thing. There is an alchemist in Master Wu's house who has issued a challenge letter to Alchemist Yao. The battle book is here. Alchemy Yao, please read it. This person's surname is Gao Mingtian, and he is the disciple of that Shen Danqi. Gu Yao took the challenge book, glanced at it, and threw it into the storage ring, saying, okay, I'll take it, let your young master arrange it. Originally, they came for the alchemist of Lingzhou. Since they came to the door themselves, how could they avoid it and not fight? The guard was a little surprised. After all, Lingzhou's alchemist's name is not small, but he only came to deliver the letter, and the young master also said that Yao alchemist was in charge. The three of Gu Yao didn't go any further and went back to the yard where they lived. Zhang Jingfeng, who received the news, hurried over. Zhang Jingfeng chose to send a storage bag. This is the spiritual grass that Yao Danqi needs. In addition, I added a few more items. Yao Dan. The medicinal pills sent by the teacher before, can be said to solve our urgent needs, and any words of gratitude cannot express our feelings. Gu Yao took the storage bag and glanced at it. Sure enough, it was a little more than half of the spirit herbs he listed. He dared to say that if it wasn't for the medicinal herbs he sent over, the spirit herbs on the list might not be able to be delivered. The world still speaks with strength. Young Master Zhang is very polite, thinking that when young Master Zhang met us by chance, didn't he help us a lot? Although Gu Yao didn't mention the words secret realm of Ju Pond, Zhang Jingfeng understood what Gu Yao was referring to when he heard it. Sure enough, he still made others remember this kind of favor. Otherwise, he would it is to invite in person. I am afraid that the other party may not agree. For him, he's likely to get a much bigger return on his previous investment. Zhang Jingfeng also tacitly did not mention the secret realm, and pretended to mention it unintentionally. By the way, we tried to contact another third-rank alchemist before, but Yao alchemist must have guessed it, and he was caught by Wu Yuan again. This time, the third-rank alchemist is alchemist Kui from Giwen Pavilion in Baron State, and now she and her disciples are in the guest house arranged by Wu Yuan. Maybe alchemist Yao will have the opportunity to meet them next time. Gu Yao raised his eyebrows. He really didn't expect that after coming to Fengzhou, he would meet two other people besides Zhang Jingfeng. After he and Qi Changjai left the Baron State, they never inquired about the news over there. Of course, they haven't had the opportunity to inquire in the past few decades. I didn't expect that the master and the apprentice would come from Fengzhou after leaving Giwen Pavilion. Their purpose is also to go to Lingzhou. Recently, alchemists in Lingzhou seem to be very active outside Lingzhou. Zhang Jingfeng's brows twitched. Gu Yao didn't mention it. It seemed that it was really the case, and he decided to let someone check what was going on after he went back. The alchemist in Lingzhou has always been very arrogant. If it is true as Gu Yao said, he has been very active outside Lingzhou recently, and it is impossible for no reason. Before the challenge, Gu Yao didn't go out to hang out anymore, but when he stayed in the guest house, he often talked to Su Chen in the courtyard in the long night. They all sweated for them. Was it too arrogant and careless, or was it a broken jar? The challenge book was downloaded first, but the date of the challenge is still a while away, and I don't know if the other party did it on purpose. Anyway, if Gu Yao goes out shopping again during this time, he will definitely hear a lot of talk about this challenge of alchemy. The public opinion is on Gao Tian's side. After all, the alchemist from Lingzhou is more confident than the unknown alchemist. Correspondingly, even Zhang Jingfeng's reputation and popularity have been declining. If he hadn't seen the medicinal pills sent by Gu Yao, especially knowing that he could refine the third-grade Heiwan Dan, the people around Zhang Jingfeng can't sit still. Although he can still hold his breath, it does not mean that he is not angry. Needless to say, this kid Wu Yuan must have sent someone out to spread the word. This kid wants to completely defeat the young master. He really took great pains. Master, Yao Danji's alchemy skills are definitely fine, it's not a problem to win the surnamed Gao, but the subordinates are worried about one thing: wait for Yao Danji. After this victory, the surnamed Wu would not let alchemy Yao go. Wu Yuan used only two methods against alchemist Yao. One was to send someone to win over alchemist Yao as before, and the other was to destroy alchemist Yao with all his might and cut off one of the young master's arms. Either way, they don't want to see it. Zhang Jingfeng frowned slightly. This time Wu Yuan wants to poach people is not so simple. Lingzhou may not be useful to all alchemists, but we need to remind Yao alchemist that Senior Su is a fit cultivator. What should we send? People may protect alchemist Yao, but there may not be many. The predecessors are reliable. As long as Yao alchemist does not reveal the strength of third-grade alchemists, I don't think Wu Yuan is willing to spend such a big price. Wu Yuan is willing to ask Mahayana monks to deal with an illusory alchemist. He felt that unless Wu Yuan was in a desperate situation, he would want to destroy his opponent, but even if he thought, the Mahayana monk is not stupid, because then the reputation of the Mahayana monk will be lost, unless Wu Yuan can show enough to impress treasure of Mahayana monks. Although others wondered why Zhang Jingfeng was so confident that alchemist Yao would not be poached by Wu Yuan, it was always a good thing. Gao Tian specially put the challenge location on the central square of Fengming City. When that day came, countless cultivators arrived in the square in advance. They were not looking at Gu Yao, but at Gao Tian, the Lingzhou Dan master, and the third-grade alchemist behind him. The city lord of Fengming City specially sent guards to maintain order and activated the formation in the square. The third-grade alchemist of the city lord's mansion came forward to act as the host of this challenge. Shen Xing didn't get involved in the matter at first, but he didn't expect that the apprentice would make such a big commotion as soon as he did it. When the city lord's mansion came forward, he, a fit cultivator and a third-grade alchemist, couldn't take Zhou too much, so he made an exception and came to the square ahead of schedule. Sitting in the VIP seats in the plaza grandstand. Not only did people from the city lord's mansion come forward, but the Dingxian Pavilion's general pavilion was also alarmed, and sent elders and third-grade alchemists to come forward. The monks who arrived ahead of time saw the situation in the VIP seats, and sighed that this trip was not wrong. It was worth seeing these seniors and third-rank alchemists. That's Gao Tian Gao alchemist. Sure enough, he was born with a dragon and a phoenix, and it is extraordinary at first glance. Where is the other alchemist? Why hasn't he appeared yet? It's not that he is afraid of shrinking from the battle, haha. Hey, I think Wu Xiaodong's family has been too cruel to Zhang Xiaodong's family this time. He has pried away the previous alchemist, but now he has finally hired another alchemist, and he has been challenged again. There is no room for Zhang Xiaodong's family, and we have to kill everyone. Hey, that's because Wu Xiaodong's family has the ability to invite foreign aid from Lingzhou, and he didn't stop Zhang Xiaodong's family from inviting them. That's not because Zhang Xiaodong's family has no ability, so he can admit defeat as soon as possible. Just when there was a lot of discussion below, Zhang Jingfeng finally arrived with Gu Yao and his party. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 448. Shen Xing said that the battle that his apprentice made was too big, and he was not proud of it. Although he was affiliated with Lingyun Building in Lingzhou, there were only two types of people who could shine in Lingzhou and become the focus of attention. One is the first and second rank alchemists at the top of the pyramid, and the other is the genius alchemist who showed his talent at a young age. A third-grade and fourth-grade alchemists such as Shen Xing would be difficult to excel in Lingzhou, because they were not indispensable, and it was difficult to obtain such treatment in Lingzhou. This time, in addition to having a cultivator like Wu Yuan looking for rare spirit grass for him, he can also enjoy such a courtesy. Even Shen Xing is also a little intoxicated. As for the alchemists that the apprentice wanted to teach, Shen Xing did not pay attention to it. The best alchemists in the spiritual world were all trained in Lingzhou, and the most talented alchemists were also sent to Lingzhou. It is impossible to compare with those genius alchemists, but the disciples he taught also cannot lose to the unknown alchemists outside. Wu Yuan was talking with Gao Tian and Jin Zhan. Seeing the movement below, he glanced at him and smiled and said, "Young Master Zhang, you have finally appeared. I really thought he would be a deserter." Alchemist Gao, Alchemist Jin, the person wearing the light golden robe beside him is Alchemist Yao, who was the latest to be gathered by young Master Zhang. In fact, I would like to say that in this competition of alchemy, it is enough to let Alchemist Huang play, there is no need to give them to them. Such a big face. In order to appear more cautious, Gu Yao specially put on a light golden robe that Qi Chengjai chose for him. Gao Tian and Jin Qi raised their chin slightly and swept over Gu Yao, who was walking unhurriedly below, with disdain flashing in their eyes. There were two female alchemists behind them, it was Kui Xian and her apprentice Huang Ruyu. Compared with decades ago, the sharp arrogance has receded, especially in front of Shen Xing's master and apprentice, the two seem to be more restrained. What Huang Ruyu said to Wu Yuan, Huang Ruyu was not unhappy, not to mention her origin, she was incomparable to Gao Tian and Jin Qiu in alchemy. After they left Giwen Pavilion, they felt that it was not easy for them to cultivate loosely. They were no longer rushing to send the spiritual herbs they wanted. They spent more time collecting the herbs than in the past, which led to the study of alchemy techniques to improve the level of alchemy techniques. A lot slower. But the more this is the case, the less the master and the apprentice will admit defeat. In their opinion, as long as they are given a chance, they are pavilion master when of Giwen Pavilion, and they can step on their feet. It's just that it's easy to enter Lingzhou, but it's a little difficult to get the alchemist's approval over there. The master and apprentice have to walk around Lingzhou before they have to withdraw and continue to look for their chance. I actually met a disciple of Ling Yunlu who was practicing outside. Wu Yuan's words were actually the disdain of their master and apprentice. When they were in Giwen Pavilion, such businessmen could only please them. However, the hardships they had suffered over the years made them know that they were no longer in Giwen Pavilion. Well, sometimes I have to bow my head. Young Master Wu and Master Gao Dan have something to do with Ruyu, and Ruyu has nothing to do with it, Huang Ruyu said softly. Jin Long despised Gu Yao, and even more despised Huang Ruyu, the master and apprentice who had been posted upside down, especially Huang Ruyu's intentional or unintentional demeanor in front of Gao Tian. In her opinion, she was deliberately seducing her senior brother. In your eyes, what is the difference between you and other women? Gao Tian said, since the words have been released, of course I can't break my promise. Next time there will naturally be a chance for Master Huang to show his skills. Of course, he would not let others replace such a chance to become famous, otherwise why did he take great pains to make such a big deal? Battle. Gu Yao and Qi Chengjai, who approached, also saw Huang Ruyu's master and apprentice, but they only glanced at them casually, and then looked away as if they were irrelevant people. A flash of interest flashed in Su Chen's eyes. He knew very well what happened, but this little girl was unlucky and bumped into Gu Yao's hand again. There was a lot of discussion in the audience, pointing at Gu Yao, who had never had a name in the Fengzhou alchemy world. It was difficult for people to have confidence in his alchemy. The elder of Dingxian Pavilion coughed lightly and treated Wu Yuan and Zhang Jingfeng with a flat bowl of water. From outsiders, it seemed that this was an internal affair of Dingxian Pavilion, but the whole Fengming city was disturbed, so he blamed him for a while, and stated that this time it was just a discussion of alchemy techniques, so don't hurt your peace. For Gu Yao, this elder and the third-grade alchemist from the main pavilion did not pay much attention to him. They only encouraged him verbally. Obviously, he was not optimistic about him, because Gu Yao sent him to Zhang Jingfen. Zhang Jingfen was ready to put it at a critical moment, especially when Wu Yuan took the initiative to provoke a pill competition. Zhang Jingfen even moved the time back. Alchemist Qiu from the city lord's mansion rang the bell, and the buzzing sound in the square suddenly decreased a lot. He coughed lightly and said, "Alchemist Gao, Alchemist Yao, this time, Qiu will preside over the alchemy competition, and he will be in charge of the competition. The third-grade alchemist here will be the judge together, and the two of you may have objections." The advantage is obviously on Gao Tian's side, but Gu Yao shook his head and said, "No. Gao Tian is even more so. It's time to start." Alchemist Qiu knows that Jiaoshan has an arrogant temperament. Alchemy teachers from Lingzhou have always been like this, so there is no need to worry about it. Then let me announce the rules of this competition. Provided together, we have prepared a total of 20 kinds of medicinal materials, 6 of each, and the number is limited, so the two alchemists need to choose carefully. These are the names of 20 kinds of medicinal pills. Alchemist Qiu cast out a line of spiritual power, and the names of these medicinal pills were displayed on the jade beside the jade, and the monks watching below could also see clearly 4 of them. There are 8 kinds of intermediate grade pills, 8 kinds of 4th grade high grade pills, and 4 kinds of 4th grade top grade pills. The difficulty of refining the pills we choose for each level will not fluctuate too much. Pick 1. Gao Tian is a cultivator in the late stage of virtual refining, and he said to himself, "Actually, the intermediate level pills can be omitted, and the high level pills can be refined directly. Of course, if Yao Dan thinks it is necessary, Gao will reluctantly choose one." Gao Tian reported the names of the 3 medicinal pills very casually, and Alchemist Qiu clapped his hands, and immediately the staff brought up the 9 materials of the 3 medicinal herbs, and everyone's eyes were focused on Gu Yao. Huang Ruyu is also looking at the names of these medicinal pills. Over the years, there are medicinal pills provided by Master, and her cultivation level has also risen to the middle stage of virtual refining, but the 8 kinds of 4th grade intermediate pills listed above belong to this level. For the difficult pills, she was not sure that the 3 ingredients would definitely make one pill. Beijing didn't have so many ingredients for her to practice. She hoped that Dan Master Yao would automatically admit defeat, or make a big fool in front of everyone. Today's scene reminded her of the last Dan fight in Giwen Pavilion, although it took her a while to suppress that fight. The shadow left by Dan continued to improve her alchemy and cultivation, but she knew very well that until one day she truly defeated Gu Yao, her inner demon would be completely defeated. She doesn't believe it anymore. With one Gu Yao, she can meet another Gu Yao, which is not better than Gao Tian and Jin Long. She is not convinced, but 1 or 2 unknown alchemists are also better at alchemy. She is something she can't accept no matter what. Huang Ruyu didn't know that alchemist Yao who was standing on this stage was Gu Yao who once left her with her inner demons, but when we met again, she did not recognize the person who made her gnashing of hatred. Gu Yao glanced at the jade bai, originally wanted to pick the same medicinal pill as Gao Tian, but after thinking about it, he replaced all 3 with the medicinal pill that Gao Tian chose. This kind of result made Jin Long sneer. In her opinion, a person with confidence should choose the same medicinal pill as his senior brother, in order to better identify the good and the bad, but she turned out to be a coward. She thought that this pill technique there is no need for a test at all. On the other hand, the 2 third-grade alchemists from the city lord's mansion and Dingxian pavilion raised their eyebrows slightly. How could there be such a coincidence that they were all next to each other? This is intentional. Why is it so intentional? To say they are nervous, worried, and afraid, they are also people who have lived long enough, and they don't see any emotions related to them from Gu Yao. They seem to be very calm. Gu Yao Shi Shiren sat down on the alchemy seat, took out the alchemy furnace and put it in front of him. 3 kinds of 9 materials were placed on the platform in front of him. Although his pill furnace came from Giwen Pavilion, after so many years of running in and use, it has been branded with himself. Unless the refiner himself, the monk who has not much impression can still recognize it. This Yaoi seems to be very confident. The cultivator on the banquet table laughed at Gu Yao's performance. Whether it's a dragon or a worm, it depends on the next performance. This is the beginning. Gao Tian seemed to want Gu Yao to look good, so it would be better for him to give birth to a demon, so he glanced at Gu Yao maliciously and waved a piece of intermediate pill material into the pill furnace, which immediately caused a lot of confusion. Exclamation. Huang Ruyu also saw her brows jumping, because in the pill battle she lost. Her opponent also threw all the ingredients into the pill furnace. Later, she and her master went to Lingzhou to find out that the pills she did this way. Gu Yao is not the only teacher, as long as the control is strong enough. Gu Yao was stunned for a moment. Others thought he was timid. In fact, he was just thinking, should he keep a low profile? After all, Huang Ruyu had seen him refining alchemy, so he planned to refine the spirit grass step by step. Others didn't know what he was thinking, but the corners of his mouth twitched slightly when they saw him in the next moment, and they couldn't understand his thoughts, but everyone could see the next scene clearly. Just like Gao Tian, he sent a pair of materials into the pill furnace. Not to mention that the monks on the stage were all stunned by Gu Yao's actions, and the audience's discussion became louder. Many people felt that Gu Yao was afraid of losing face, so they chose to do the same as Gao Tian, but waiting will only lose more face, which is not worth the loss. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 449. The cultivators who came to watch this alchemy competition. There are some cultivators and a lot of demon cultivators, even if they are not born with the talent for alchemy, are they not allowed to watch the fun? Especially watching the liveliness of people cultivating, they are more energetic. The monks of the Penguin clan also circled a corner and watched with relish, and occasionally commented on it. People who didn't know their identities, looking at their posture, thought they were good players. Which one do you like? I think that the man in the light golden robe, Xiu, is more pleasing to the eye than the other one. I think he can be swayed. Really? But those guys didn't say that the people in white robes came from Lingzhou. Although I haven't been to Lingzhou, I know that it is a place specializing in alchemy. I heard about those places where you can bet. Almost no one is optimistic about the light golden robe. Isn't this light golden odds very high? Yes, I heard people say before that it has already lost 100 for 1. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and place a bet. Before that stinky girl robbed me of the robe and spent most of my spirit stones, I have to take this opportunity to earn the spirit stones back. I also think light gold looks good, I'll bet with you. That is, there are as many as white ones. Although the light gold is still a bit plain, it looks better than white. With a hula, the Penguin family ran away a lot and came back not long after, with smiles all over their faces, as if a large pen of spirit stones were about to fall from the sky. The demon cultivator who was sitting near them listened to their conversation and was extremely speechless. When did the level of alchemy skills depend on clothing? If the Penguin family were to judge, this alchemy competition would turn into a color competition? Simply invisible. Su Chen was very bored sitting on the stage. He knew the result for a long time, still need to watch it? So he looked around and accidentally let him hear the odds of Gu Yao in the casino discussed below. His eyes suddenly brightened, he whispered a few words to Qi Changjai, and then Qi Changjai gave him a storage bag. Su Chen bent the waist quickly slipped out. The people on Zhang Jingfeng's side were sitting with Su Chen, and Su Chen's whisper was not concealed for them at all, and they could hear it very clearly. Zhang Jingfeng's confidants exchanged glances that everyone understood, privately. After some small movements, Two cultivators walked out without a trace, and even before leaving, Zhang Jingfeng handed over a storage bag, and explained a few words with his spiritual sense. They had seen the medicinal pills sent by Guyao. To be honest, they all felt that Guyao, an actual third-grade alchemist, competed with the opponent's fourth-grade alchemist, and was suspected of bullying others. Of course, this belongs to their secret. No one can say it, but it doesn't mean that you can't take this opportunity to make a big deal. Whoever made this challenge initiated by the other party was not Alchemist Yao, who took the initiative to bully the other party. Non-confidants can't understand this rhythm. What does this mean? Wouldn't it be because Zhang Xiao had to smash the spirit stone to lower Yao Danji's high odds in order to save face? There are so many people who think about it, they still follow the young master. They are not alchemists. There is no need to follow the whole process of this live competition, so they also ran out to make a bet. Sit honestly as if you don't know. The Zhuang family had just sent away a cultivator from the Kehi clan, and another person came in behind, took out a bag of spirit stones and smashed them on the table, and said with aplomb, "I beat Alchemy Yao to win, here are 10,000 top-grade spirit stones." Seeing the foolish expression, the dealer accepted Lingxi and sent the cultivator away, but they didn't expect that a few cultivators would come in as soon as they turned around, still betting on Alchemy Yao, and no one would bet on Alchemy Yao afterward. They thought it was normal. Don't give up the spirit stone for nothing, and I don't know which idiots throw the spirit stone like a stone, the more the better for us. Don't worry about those guys in the Penguin clan who don't have good brains. What's going on with these people? Isn't there a few guys with abnormal brains in Renqiu? By the way, the person who came here at first is familiar with Xiu, and seems to be the guy who came with Yao Danji. Haha, no wonder, it seems that the guys in the back are also with them. What's the matter? Before this, there were many people under Zhang Xiao's hand who secretly came to bet, and that was betting on Alchemist Gao, except for a fool, who would bet on Alchemist Yao, who appeared out of nowhere. Su Chen swept through the opening betting points near the square before giving up, and scattered the spiritual stones in his hand. After placing the bet, except for the elixir, he could be said to be a pauper, but he was not worried at all, leisurely go back, and then wait to make a fortune. How many spirit stones are thrown out, they will be recovered 100 times later. When he returned to the stage, Su Chen was smiling from beginning to end. Everyone felt his good mood. Zhang Jingfeng was secretly happy. He also spread the bets, rather than focusing on one point, so as not to arouse suspicion. As for whether the spirit stone can be recovered, the big deal is to ask the ancestors to take a trip. 3 top-grade dripping glass pills, 6 top-grade clear glass pills, very good results. Gao Tian's first batch of alchemy was successfully released. After receiving the alchemy, his own staff sent it to the VIP table to be judged by third-grade alchemists. The audience below heard the top-quality clear glass pills, and the alchemist from Lingzhou was different. The first batch of top-grade pills came out. It is a good achievement for the alchemists in this state to produce high-grade pills. There were even a lot of people who had firmed up their determination to fall on Wu Yuan's side, hoping to get 1 or 2 top-grade pills through his hands. Seeing the fiery gazes from the cultivator below, Wu Yuan couldn't help but feel proud, and he was even more polite to Shen Xing and his disciples. Although it took a lot of money to win over Shen Xing, it was very obvious that it was worth the money. He believes that there is no need to wait any longer. Once today is over, Zhang Jingfeng's side will be completely lost, and he will sit and wait to receive the forces and shops in Zhang Jingfeng's hands. Guyao deliberately slowed down the speed, and still had the time to observe the situation of other people's pill furnaces. After seeing the situation of Gao Tian's pill production, he had a judgment on Gao Tian's pill technique level. There was a roar in the elixir furnace. Guyao unhurriedly pinched the spiritual art, and pills of elixir sprayed out from the furnace, whirled around in the air and got into the waiting jade bottle. At this time, Gao Tian has already started the second refining process. In his opinion, there is no need to pay unnecessary attention to this doomed loser. This alchemy competition is for him to build momentum for himself, and Gu Yao is just a random choice for him. On the top. The staff immediately came over to collect the medicinal pills and delivered them to Alchemist Chiu on the banquet table. As the host, Alchemist Chiu didn't stop paying attention to Gu Yao's alchemy situation because of preconceived ideas, so at this time he already knew the quality of the medicinal pills in the bottle, and because he knew, he looked at Gu Yao in surprise. Alchemy Chiu. Someone reminded Alchemy Chiu to announce the result. Alchemist Chiu returned to his senses, without even looking at the medicinal pills in the bottle, and announced, 4 top-grade Bingzin pills, 5 top-grade Bingzin pills. The difficulty of refining Bingzin pill is no less than that of Kingli pill. This is a kind of pill with extreme ice properties. It is suitable for cultivators of Binglingan to improve their cultivation. Once the result comes out, it will definitely be affected by the cultivator of Binglingan. Welcome and sought after. A monk was drinking tea, and when he heard the result, he almost knocked over the teacup in his hand. What? 4 superb Bingzin pills. This is impossible, Jin Qiu blurted out. How could a nameless alchemist have the ability to overwhelm her senior brother? Absolutely impossible. The third-grade alchemist of Dingxian Pavilion took the jade bottle, but he didn't realize it himself. This action was a few beats faster than before. He opened the jade bottle and glanced at it. The shock in his eyes was undisguised, and he affirmed, "That's right, 4 top grades and 5 top grades, can Alchemist Shen appraise it again?" A strange color flashed in Shen Xing's eyes and said, "Yes." He took the jade bottle and glanced at it, and then showed a look of relief. "Very good results, it seems that this test will be much more interesting than I thought." Jin Long still grabbed the jade bottle in disbelief after reading it by her master, and even poured out the Bingzin pill for inspection. The ice blue pill reflected an icy radiance under the light, and there were several people in the audience. Binglingan cultivator couldn't sit still. Wu Yuan smashed a folding fan in his hand, but his face became softer and he smiled brightly. Alchemy Shen is right, this alchemy competition is getting more and more interesting. No wonder Zhang Xiao will personally go to Alchemy Yao. Picking up Fengming City, he really has some ability. Jin Qiu was very unhappy with the alchemy masters other than his compliment, and threw the jade bottle to the staff. The Binglingan cultivator below was trembling at the random movements of her. Does this stinky girl know the best ice attribute? Dan's precious. Will she pay for any damage? Humph, this is just the beginning. What Wu Xiao said is too early. This Yao's cultivation base is 1 rank higher than my senior brother. Shouldn't it be necessary to refine an extra high-quality pill? What is there to praise? Talk later. Wu Yuan's eyes darkened, but his smile remained unchanged. Master Jin Dan is right. Only then did Jin Qiu let Wu Yuan go. Huang Ruyu's teeth clenched her lower lip, staring at Gu Yao's back. She thought again of the pill fight in Giwan Pavilion. For some reason, Yao Danji's back on this stage slowly followed Gu Yao's deep memory. Overlapping together. Damn it! At this moment, she hoped that Gao Tian would win with an absolute advantage. How could there be an alchemist who has beaten the alchemist in Lingzhou? How could an alchemist from Lingzhou be compared to a lesser-known alchemist outside? She doesn't allow it. The people on Zhang Jingfeng's side were excited, but they didn't expect that in the first round, Alchemist Yao would win by a small margin. The monk of the Penguin tribe shook his head proudly, pointed to the alchemist wearing a light golden robe on the stage and said, "Look, who said that the monks of the Penguin tribe have bad eyesight? I'm optimistic about this alchemist, he is really bad." The cultivator next to him was speechless. In their opinion, this business-selling family is just a blind cat and a dead mouse. Although I don't know why the first time, Alchemist Yao got a small victory, but there are still 2 rounds left. Who will kill the deer is still unknown. Transmigration, First Class Immortal Husband. Author, North Wind Blows. Chapter 450. With a bang, Gao Tian's second Dan Friar was fired. The stage was quiet for a while. Seeing Gao Tian's ugly face, everyone could guess his mood. He was distracted to see Gu Yao's situation when he was concocting alchemy. Obviously, the result was far beyond his expectations. It was a normal thing, but his face was even more ugly after the bombing, which was more difficult for him to accept than losing a round. Jin Qiu immediately threw a cold-eyed knife at Gu Yao, who was facing her back. In her opinion, this situation was caused by Gu Yao. Shen Xing's hand holding the beard paused slightly. Gao Tian raised his head and looked at Gu Yao, and a smile suddenly appeared on his gloomy face. It seems that I underestimate Yao Alchemist. Although Yao Alchemist's level is beyond my expectations, it also makes me happier, and then I can let go. I hope Alchemy Yao will do the same. Gu Yao smiled and nodded. Okay, Master Gao Dan, please. In this furnace, the two started at the same time, throwing a pair of materials into the pill furnace together, igniting, refining. The movements of the two seem to overlap, and everything is so orderly. Huang Ruyu's 10 fingers were entangled together. For some reason, she felt more and more that Alchemist Yao had a taste of ancient Yao. Kui Xin also didn't expect this result. She also read the medicinal pill just now, and let her have these 3 products. Even if an alchemist started to practice, the first batch might not produce such results. After she left Giwen Pavilion, she had traveled a lot. She believed that outside Lingzhou, her alchemy skills were not bad. She also thought of Gu Yao, when a Gu Yao almost destroyed her apprentice, and now another Yao alchemist has emerged. Could it be possible to reverse and defeat Gao Tian? She patted her apprentice's hand to reassure her and said, "It's still early, geniuses are not so easy to become, and even Gao Tian is not very loud in Lingzhou." The latter sentence was said to the apprentice through sound transmission, otherwise, it would not have offended Shen Xing and Gao Tian's master and apprentice, and Jin Qiu would not be good-natured. When she went to Lingzhou, she realized how talented some young alchemists were. If Gao Tian was outstanding enough, he would not worship Shen Xing. Those who are favored by second-rank or even first-rank alchemists as disciples are the true pride of heaven in Lingzhou. Jin Zhan stared at Gu Yao's back, as if this would shake Gu Yao's mind and make him go wrong on the way to alchemy. But things backfired. Until her eyes were sore, nothing happened in the pill furnace in front of Gu Yao. This time, both on stage and off stage, they paid more attention to this alchemist. It's not just watching Gao Tian's performance. Even Shen Xing, every time he glanced at Gu Yao, there was a thoughtful look in his eyes. The cultivator on Zhang Jingfeng's side was both excited and anxious. If there was no hope of winning, it would be a loss anyway, but now that the dawn was in front of him, his heart suddenly went up and down. The monks of the penguin family are the most leisurely, nibbling on the ice spirit fruit and talking. These monks are all of the ice attribute. Looking at Gu Yao's Bingzin Dan just released, they are very greedy, and they discuss each other. When it's over, let's go and find Yao Danji. Well, since we like him so much, he should be able to agree to make a few pots of elixir for us. Others laughed sullenly when they heard it. It is enough to invite such an alchemist to make 1 pot of pills. How many more pots do you want to make? Big enough. Yes, we have prepared the spirit grass, and we will go over when the stage is over. Alchemist Yao will definitely agree. The penguins seem to have the ability to talk to themselves. Gao Tian invested 12 points of energy in this potion, and the pills were successfully condensed into pills in the pill furnace. 4th grade high-grade Jinyang Dan, 3 top-grade pills, 4 high-grade pills, and 2 middle-grade pills *. This result makes Gao Tian very proud. Regardless of whether one is an intermediate pill and the other is a high-level pill, the difficulty of refining is not only doubled, and Jinyang pill is an attribute pill taken by Jin Lingan cultivator. It is difficult to refine. It is a little bigger than other pills, and he is also playing well, so he can produce 3 top-grade pills. This time, he didn't rush to refine the next pot of pills, but waited for the results from Gu Yao. Gu Yao still slowed down the refining speed. Gao Tian's side came out with the results. He was still holding on to the pill without hesitation, and was not affected by the surrounding environment at all, which made several people here nod secretly. Just this calm personality, in fact, has already surpassed Gao Tian. Even if the result is not as good as Gao Tian, it may not be too far behind in the future. The reason why there are so many alchemists in Lingzhou and their high level is that, in addition to the talent problem, the inheritance of alchemy in Lingzhou is higher than that of other states, so it is reasonable that Gu Yao, who is not from Lingzhou, is a little weaker than Gao Tian. Middle. Others include the monks in the audience. Uncle's expression is no longer as straightforward as the first time, and they whisper to each other. Although Gu Yao is unlikely to win in the second round, he will not underestimate him. To be able to refine the best Bingzin pill, it has already surpassed many fourth-grade alchemists. With a sound of hum, the pill furnace in front of Gu Yao trembled, and pills flew out one after another. This time, he refined the Yun Shen Dan, which can warm the soul of a cultivator, which is very useful for cultivators to enter the advanced stage. Combination is very beneficial. The difficulty of refining this kind of medicine pill is no less than that of Jinyang pill, and it is even better. The Yunshan pill has a dull appearance and looks gray, but several of the Yunshan pills are wrapped in a circle of gray halo. This time, the pills let everyone's eyes and consciousness project over. A puff sounded. When the medicinal pills were delivered to Alchemist Qiu, he took the identification very seriously and announced, 4th-grade high-grade Yunshan pills, 4 top-grade pills, and 5 high-grade pills. There was a buzz in the audience, and some people paid attention to Gao Tian. The result was like a slap in the face of Gao Tian. If the standard is to win 2 games in 3 games, Gao Tian has already lost this competition. Of course, it is not so simple to determine whether to win or lose. In the end, it depends on who can refine a higher level medicinal pill, and the final result should be used to judge success or failure. Before Wu Yuan crushed a folding fan, this time he directly crushed the teacup in his hand into a powder, and then waved the powder away as if he was happy. Gongji Zhang is gone, Zhang Xiao this as expected, he has a unique vision, and with Alchemy Yao joining in, with time, Zhang Xiao will be able to train another 3rd-grade alchemist. Wu Mao congratulated Zhang Xiao in advance. The people around Zhang Jingfen were furious. Just at this moment, the 3rd-rank alchemist who was poached by Wu Yuan from Zhang Jingfen happened to come over. The living example, coupled with the bright smile on Wu Yuan's face, all when reminding them of what happened before, it seems to be saying that no matter how good the 4th-grade alchemy master Zhang Jingfen is, it is not as good as the 3rd-grade alchemist. 3rd-rank alchemists were also trained for Wu Yuan and the others, and Zhang Jingfen was just making wedding clothes for them. The cultivator beside Zhang Jingfen could not wait to beat this guy surnamed Wei until his nose was blue and his face was swollen. No one could recognize him again. No one was in a good mood when they saw this guy. His appearance was not a reminder of his past betrayal. Alchemy Wei originally wanted to avoid the confrontation between Zhang Jingfen and Wu Yuan, but the news that came back surprised him. Tian, an alchemist from Lingzhou, actually lost twice in a row to the new alchemist Zhang Jingfen recruited. He couldn't sit still, and hurried over to witness the result of the last competition with his own eyes. Alchemy Wei betrayed the old master and turned to the old master's opponent, which made many people feel ashamed, but he was a 3rd-rank alchemist, so he didn't show much contempt on his face. He will beg for him, and if Wu Yuan wins, many people will think that he has a good vision and is following the right person. Now Wu Yuan's words made Wei Danqi more than twice as embarrassed as before, so he was thick-skinned, clasped his fists at both sides and the monks present, and went to Wu Yuan's side to find a seat and sat down. The people on Jingfeng's side could only withdraw their eyes angrily, and at the same time they also had hidden worries about Gu Yao in their hearts. How many alchemists can withstand Wu Yuan's lobbying? Zhang Jingfeng turned his eyes away from Alchemist Wei with a flat expression, and smiled at Wu Yuan. Then we will follow Wu Shaoji's words, and I also believe that such a day will come. In fact, the day has come, and Gu Yao is now a third-rank alchemist, so why bother with Wu Yuan's words? Then Wu will wait. Wu Yuan is also not angry. He has already thought about it. After the competition is over, he will find a way to dig Gu Yao over. He does not believe that Gu Yao will not be moved and is willing to stay. On Zhang Jingfeng's side, one must know that with the guidance of a third-grade alchemist, the chance of promotion will be much greater. What are the benefits of staying with Zhang Jingfeng? At this time, Wu Yuan didn't expect what Gao Tian and Jin Qiu would think, and would they tolerate someone who could defeat Gao Tian? Perhaps Wu Yuan felt that Gao Tian would perform well when refining the top grade 4 pills, so he skipped the last round. After the second pot of pills was over, Gu Yao started to adjust his breath like no one else was doing, and resumed the last pot of pills when he recovered. Gao Tian couldn't be more calm when he saw his appearance, because Gu Yao seemed to be saying that better than his Gao Tim is just a normal thing, not worth the fuss about mood swings. After a while, he suppressed his emotions and joined the ranks of breathing adjustment. After all, his cultivation was a little lower than Gu Yao's, and he couldn't succeed in his cultivation. In the last pot of pills, Gao Tian no longer had the relaxed state of mind he had before. Although his cultivation was a small step away, whoever made this challenge initiated by him, Gu Yao could not be considered a bully. Originally, he thought that by defeating his opponent with an absolute advantage when his cultivation base was a little behind, his reputation in Fengzhou would rise to a very high level, but now if he is not good, his original reputation will be damaged. Decline.